folks. We're in our Idaho office again, as you can probably see. And right now, I want to talk about the difference between EDC handguns, which is everyday carry, versus home defense guns, which is presumably something you leave in the home for defense, unless you use your EDC gun for both purposes. Let's talk about everyday carry. The guns that I everyday carry are small, especially in the summer. I mean, in the winter, if I'm wearing bulky coats and stuff, I can go to bigger pistols. But I carry small stuff. This is a SIG P938, 9mm. It's very small. I like them in holsters. They're comfortable. You forget that they're on. But if you want to put it in your back pocket, voila, it's in your back pocket. You can't fire it from there, but you can't fire it when it's in the holster either. So sometimes I've been known just to pick up one of my EDC guns, throw it in my back pocket and head to town. Other times I'll take the time to actually strap it on properly. I'm not afraid to do either. This is a SIG P938, as I said, and I don't care what make or model of pistol you choose to carry. I don't care if it's a 9mm or a 45. The things you need to pay attention to are, how does it fit your hand? Have you practiced enough to be competent with it? And is the pistol functioning right? I mean, practice, practice, practice. Test, test, test. Your ammunition matters too. So let's take a slight divergence here and talk about ammo. In my everyday carry pistols, the first shot or two will be a hollow point, and I'm not going to empty. You know, my guns are always loaded. We'll talk about that too. Even for demo purposes, my guns are loaded. There's no such thing as an empty gun. People always get negligently killed with empty guns. Mine are all loaded, period. So I handle them accordingly. So small holsters are a help. These are, I believe these are DeSantis. Both of these are DeSantis holsters. A spare magazine pouch to carry a spare magazine, a good idea. You can always slip a spare magazine in a pocket also. Semi-autos have several advantages over these little J-frame Smith & Wesson revolvers or D-frame Colts. And I think Charter Arms is making some real small revolvers. Taurus is too. Taurus just copies the Smith & Wessons. So we'll talk about the advantages. The semi-autos are a much faster reload, much faster, and they usually hold more ammo. This little SIG P365 holds 11 rounds. I mean, these little revolvers are 5. If you get the new Lipsy's Ultra Carry 32s, they're 6. I prefer these tiny revolvers for operation inside my coat pocket. I don't carry them when I can carry what I see as a fairly superior, reliable semi-auto that holds more ammo and that's a faster reload. I only carry these revolvers when I want them in a pocket, and I want to fire them from my pocket. In a coat pocket, the slide movement on a semi-auto as the slide comes back may very well interfere with its function and cause a jam. So I don't really want to fire semi-autos from the pocket. You might get away from it or get away with it, but that's a maybe. The revolvers you can fire from a pocket all you want. And you'll notice both of these revolvers don't even have exposed hammers to get hung up on material in your pocket. And when we get into home defense guns, I will show you that I also, if I'm under particular reason to believe I need it, which I have been in my life more than once, I'll put one of these in the bed with me. There's nothing to hang up on the covers either. You can shoot it right through the covers, and there's nothing to hang up. No slides, no hammers, no nothing. So anyway, I'll get into that later. When we get into our home defense guns, We don't have to go small and easy to carry. In fact, the bigger the gun, the easier it is to shoot because of the mass and the recoil reduction. And you'll notice a lot of mine have flashlights on them and lasers. And so very different than EDC. And when we get all done with this, I'll show you some ideas for women's EDC also. But let's switch over to home defense guns. As you'll notice, these are high capacity. This is a Sig Sauer, it holds 16 rounds. This is a 45 I had made that'll take a suppressor, and so will this Sig, by the way. It'll take a suppressor if I want to use it. But I've got lights and lasers on them. And these 4 spare magazines that are loaded, these are sitting on the bedstand right next to this gun. This gun's very heavy. It's all steel. It holds 14 rounds of 45. I actually had it made for 3-gun competition, the heavyweight class in 3-gun. But it's just so nice. It sits on my bed. It's loaded with plus P 45s. And the ammunition is flat nose solid. I do flat nose solid in the house if I have to shoot through a sofa or a fridge or a wall or a door, whatever the bad guy's hiding behind. I don't want expanding hollow points that can do all kinds of crazy things when they hit mass. So I basically, if something goes bump in the dark, and it's the right kind of bump, and I know what it is, which means another human. I got 4 full magazines. I've got a pistol sitting next to it with a magazine. There's a round chambered, always. Flashlight and laser, and if I so choose to use a silencer, I've got a threaded barrel. I had this gun made just for this. I don't leave out Glocks. They're ultra reliable. They're not very heavy, so you feel the recoil more, but Glock 9mm, Sig Sauer 9mm, a custom made, and I won't give you the name of the maker because he's no longer making these for competition. 45s. Generally, my first 2 shots will be hollow points unless I'm shooting a 45. It's already big, it's a 45. And then after the first 2 shots, I want penetrator ammo because people tend to duck behind cover. Whatever's in your house, they can duck behind. Or same with when you're doing everyday carry out on the streets. If you don't hit them with the first 2 shots and stop them, they're going to get behind something. And if you're shooting real soft, squishy hollow points, now you may or may not have a serious problem in, equalizing the threat against you. So home guns are big. Or they can be. They're easier to shoot if they are. And you can put lights on them, all kinds of stuff. They hold more ammo. This particular revolver is my under the covers gun. It's a 44 Special Smith & Wesson. And like I said, all my guns are loaded. You see that full profile wad cutter ammo? Goes right through my covers, will go right through somebody's chest, even if he's a 300 pounder. You can see there's a flat nose profile. That's what I carry in this gun. Okay, the difference between EDC guns, home defense guns, and if you're on a budget or you're just not really into guns, and by the way, this is just a sampling of guns that I just pulled out of the vault. A couple of them were scattered in the house too. There's guns all over our house. Most of them are Glocks with flashlights on them. You can use your EDC gun for your home defense gun, and conversely, you can use your home defense gun for everyday carry, but it's going to be much harder to conceal. And if you've seen the video of my gun vault, I have hundreds and hundreds of guns to choose from to show you this. I just took the ones that I most normally use for in the house and for everyday carry. And if you have proper ammo, such as buffalo bore ammo, designed for specific proper use, I never feel undergunned with a 9mm, or maybe even not a 380, depending on the ammo. Everybody, this big debate between 9mm and 45. Well, yeah, modern ammo has sort of made the two pretty equal. Not exactly, but enough that I'm not going to split hairs in this video over the differences. Now, women's EDC. My wife is filming this, and I'm surprised she hasn't stopped to criticize me yet. Women's EDC. My wife had wrist surgery several years ago, and while she can shoot a Glock 9mm, she certainly can't shoot 1911 style 45s or anything in 45. It just hurts her wrist. So we had a lot of experimenting to do for my wife because she basically has special needs because of her wrist. What we settled on after a lot of shooting, what she settled on is these Black Label Brownings. They're basically a 1911 copy, complete with grip safety, thumb safety. I mean, they have all the same controls as a 1911. You can put a light on them. They've got a light rail. And these are 380 auto. And with her full metal jacket, buffalo bore ammo, it'll go through doors, windshields, whatever you need it to go through. It's actually quite lethal. The guns have an alloy frame. They don't weigh squat. I think these guns unloaded are under 20 ounces or around 20 ounces. When she carries one in a holster, this is her holster. When she just has one like this one is one of her car Black Labels. She just carries it in the car, under her seat, in her purse, which brings up one advantage. Girls have an advantage with everyday carry because a lot of them carry a purse. Pistol goes in the purse. And she slings it over her shoulder. She doesn't necessarily need it on her hip. And it allows her to carry a bigger gun comfortably than a large gun on her hip would be. So these are some of the differences, and they're the ones that matter to me. And I'll say this about a handgun. Handguns allow you to get away with only occupying one hand. Most of us are fortunate enough to have two hands. So if I have a handgun in one hand versus a rifle or a shotgun in my house, I can open a door with one hand and have the other hand with the pistol in it. I can maneuver around. I can even stop a knife-wielding attack at close range because I've got a free hand. You get your hand out there, if it gets cut, well, boo-hoo. You start pumping him full of holes while you're keeping him away from your torso with that knife. And so handguns have particular advantages. If it was a perfect world and I knew who was going to break in under what circumstances, well, I also have a shotgun with a light. We'll go over that when we get into long guns for home defense. And I've also got an AR-15 with lights and optics and all kinds of stuff on it that are sitting in my bedroom. But the first thing I'm going to grab is going to be a handgun. And then as I assess the situation, I may go to a long gun. But my handguns are set up to work. And at across the room distances, I'm fine with a handgun. And I love the advantage of having a free hand. I'm just more mobile, more portable. If I happen to get knocked off my feet, I can shoot better off my feet. The gun may not get dislodged. An armed attacker can much more easily grab the barrel of a long gun than he can a short gun. And so these are the guns I use. I've been using them all my life. I've been doing this. I've been carrying guns since I was 14. And yeah, even defending my family since I was 14. I don't live a normal life. My dad taught me to be how I am. You know, we are too complacent in this society. We're too unprepared. We're easy victims. As much as I believe in the turn the other cheek for some things, and I do, and I have, I don't believe it when my family's at stake or other innocent people's lives are at stake, and when you're dealing with brutal predators. Kill them. Period. That's what you have to do if you have any brains at all when it comes to defending yourself and other people that are innocent. And I don't just say your family, because I would defend a total stranger that was innocent too. And we're all going to have to get that way as our society continues to degenerate. And it will. It's going to get worse before it gets better. We need to be aware of this. It's so obvious. So thanks for tuning in. Hope I didn't talk your ear off too much. Hope I gave you some great ideas. This is what I do. And next we'll get into home defense rifles. Thanks for your time.